Hello, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of the Starfish podcast, DayGo. DayGo is a wall of word meaning reaching a mutual understanding, and the goal of this podcast is to give young people and the world a platform to discuss the realities that they are living and to also share their opinions with the hope of finding a common ground. And my name is Mariama Dabo. I am your host for today, and I'm excited to be back with two wonderful guest speakers who are going to share on a topic of discussion that we will introduce later. I just want to introduce them now before we move on to the discussion. On my right-hand side, I have Miss Wuday Jaiteh. She is a Starfish mentor and a youth leader, and today she's here to share her take on the topic of discussion. And on my left-hand side, I have Mr. Basaikou Jabang. He is a parent advocate for autistic children, and he is here to share his perspective as well about the topic of discussion, which is about autism awareness. As you all know, on the 2nd of April, the world celebrates autism awareness, and today we are going to talk about autism. And the fundamental principle beneath all this is not a feeling of how do we help autistic people, but how are we going to understand how to deal with autistic people? And so here we can learn about the gifts these autistic brothers and sisters bring to our world, and how we can also embrace and celebrate them in our oneness as well. So I'm gonna give my guest speakers a chance to introduce themselves more, and they're gonna tell us a little bit about who they are and their profession. We can start with Mr. Java. Welcome on the show.
Thank you, Mariama. Really appreciate and I'm really glad to be part of this show. Really thank you for inviting me to participate in this conversation. It's a very important conversation, and I would like to start by introducing myself. My name is Basaikou Jabang. I am a parent, like you said, advocate for children with autism. I currently reside in the United States of America, in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right.
I am a parent, a husband and a parent of two lovely boys, Usman Jabang and Bubakar Jabang. I am an IT specialist. That's been my career. So I've been in that field for about 20 plus years now. My current position is operations lead in the IT industry in Atlanta, Georgia.
All right. Welcome, Mr. Java. Wuday?
Thank you so much, Mariama, for this platform, and I'm really happy to be here. So my name is Wuday Jaiteh, as she said, and I am a recent high school graduate. I am currently in the University of the Gambia studying law, and this is my first year. I love participating in awareness activities and advocacy. That is one of the things that I really love doing, and I'm really happy to be here. And I also serve as a mentor at Starfish International, and currently I am a mentor in training, and I help with some of the things like teaching classes, and also like I'm also a financial assistant at Starfish. So those are a few things that I do at Starfish, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome, and welcome to the Starfish podcast. And I think one of the fundamental principles of the Starfish podcast is our realities as people in the Gambia and even in the other parts of the world. And so today we have Mr. Jabang, not just as a parent, but as a foreign voice as well, because he's been to the US and he's been able to experience some part of the United States. And so today we have him as a foreign voice and also as a parent who is a father of an autistic child. And he's gonna tell us a little bit about what autism is. So I know if somebody's listening, they'll probably be like, I know you guys are having a discussion about autism, but what really is autism? What is it about?
Thank you. This is a very good question. Yes, autism is a neurological developmental disorder. So basically, let's call it the brain. It's a disorder that affects the brain. So basically, in simple terms, it delays the development of a child, of an individual. So in a nutshell, that is what autism is about. For example, a 12-year-old could be acting or behaving like a 2-year-old because the delay in the development of the brain. So some functions of the brain in terms of communication, interaction, and and a lot of other aspects of the brain. So in a nutshell, that is what autism is about.
Okay.
That's the meaning of autism, yes.
Right. And then a follow-up question will be, who does it affect? Who can get autism?
Yes, anybody can get autism. Right now, there's still a lot of study that is been done in terms of the causes of autism, but it does not discriminate. So you cannot just say that autism just affects certain people and not these people.
Right.
In terms of what the statistics are showing, it affects everybody, every gender, ethnicity, tribe, you want to call it, every race. So the answer to that question, it does affect everybody.
All right, and thank you for making that clear.
Yes.
So we're coming to you, Ms. Wuday Jaiteh, and I want to first ask, what is your connection with the discussion at hand?
So for me, like, I have a sister who has autism, and I think that is the biggest connection if you look at it, because she's my sister, and I have seen how she has been growing up and how sometimes people treat her, and I think that is something that we need to create awareness on. As Mr. Jabang said, this is something that anybody can suffer from, and the people that are suffering from autism, they don't choose to suffer from it. So for me, just knowing that it could be any of us that are suffering from autism,
that could suffer from
autism.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is something that, like, when I look at it, like, I feel like that is the biggest connection, because it's my sister that suffers from it, and I know there are other people that might be suffering from it and they don't know about it, because autism is not something that most people are aware of.
Right. All right, thank you very much, Wuday. So autism is not a tragedy. Ignorance is the tragedy, and this is why we are having this show, to educate people about autism. We are going for a short break, and we are going to hear a poem from one of the mentors at Starfish International about kindness. And when we come back, we will discuss more about autism and the importance of knowing what it is about. Stay tuned.
Hello everyone, my name is Alpha Omajang. I'm a mentor in training at Starfish International. And this is in honor of the Autism Awareness, and it goes: born different, analyze things differently. He called me disabled, insane possessed they eyed me. Ndaisan, Dofla Wirut, Nyama Tolong. I am now a comedian to their eyes. My words are parables of laughter felt with love. They said, body soul to devil, father accused. Cursed they said Satan, Matamya des Allah. Society's judgment couldn't tremble trust, good enough to be kind. I am autistic, that my deeds rhyme repeatedly, bold to tell foreshadow, good enough to feed hearts, capability sown to write practical excellence, like to be left alone, not look in eye. Little do you know swimming in blue. Did I tell you, my creation to God is favor, not choice, brain sick, but your kindness care, before eating grapes from hell. Everyone is eligible of having an autistic child. Hide in home. Shame, I'm sorry, family. The Ghanaian autistic child killed the Jola born and others poison. No smell of death, mourn. For I am isolated to pith. Let me hear her sing love and kindness. On words from the West, it's my dream to love. Nobility as quality. Listen to Pluto, we can find love to be loved. I still must mourn your ignorance in disguise. Come close, let breath whisper to your ears to bad idea. We are blue. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. So let's be kind. We are one. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. If you're listening, this is the Starfish podcast, and it's a platform that gives everyone a chance to contribute to the discourse of the society. And today we are talking about autism. We are creating awareness on autism, and we have two guest speakers in the studio with me who are sharing their experiences and connections to the topic of discussion. So we're going to continue our discussion, and I'm coming back to Mr. Jabang, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how autism is diagnosed in young children or whoever gets it.
Okay. Yes. The process of diagnosing autism is not something that you just go to the doctor and just they screen you and they just said, oh, okay, you have autism. It doesn't work like that. It is a process, meaning it goes into stages. They normally start with process of elimination by taking your blood and checking your blood for any abnormalities, and also doing a scan of the brain. So and they take all those results and analyze them. In addition to that, they will also make sure, especially for young kids, kids that are just infants, they will also make sure that the hearing is not the problem, because sometimes if hearing impaired can make some symptoms that some people may think is autism. So they will check and make sure that the child can hear properly and the vision is good. After that, they will get into the process of studying the child's behavior, and they'll have like a graph, a statistical graph that they use to gauge, and it will be based on scores. And they will start with, for example, engaging the child and seeing how the child is responding.
Right.
And it will be like, for example, a scale of 1 to 10, and they will record it. And also they will also put the child with other kids and observe how he interacts with them. So they just keep taking those data. They will just be gathering data about the activity of the child. And then after that, that data with all the other tests will be analyzed, and that will give them the conclusion whether it's autism or not.
All right.
For example, some of the symptoms that are common are, for example, repetitive behaviors, and the child being trying to isolate, not being interested in interacting with people, communications, all those things. They will be studying them and observing the child. And then they will, at the end, they will come up with the results of their analysis. That's how it is being diagnosed.
Can autism really be cured? Is there a treatment for it?
There is no treatment for it, but there is therapy that could be used to help the child to be able to achieve a lot than they normally would if they didn't have the therapy. So there is therapy for it, but at this point there is no cure. So basically there's speech therapies, occupational therapies. Those are all kind of therapies that help the child to achieve, to try to get to a level where they could be independent, or fairly more independent, to be able to be in the part of the productive part of the society.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for elaborating on that. I think we will come back to the signs and symptoms so that you can go deeper into it, and then whoever is listening will be able to understand that these are the signs and symptoms of autism. In the meantime, we are coming back to Wuday, and Ms. Jaiteh, you're going to tell us a little about the stigmas associated with autism in the Gambia. So we know, usually there are people who have autism in the Gambia. Sometimes other people don't even know they have autism, but there are a lot of things that people say about it, Yeah.
So I think some of the stigmas that people associate with autism, one of them, it's like people think you have jinne, like rap, like they
You're
associate,
possessed.
yes, like possessed by some
Evil
of
spirits.
spirit, evil spirit, and sometimes people can isolate you because of that, because they think you are possessed by an evil spirit, and that could be bad for you and the people around you. And sometimes they will isolate you because of that. And sometimes because some of them have a slow development process, some people also think they are, I don't know, like fools or some. They are fools just because they are slow in their development, how they communicate and in speech. So people cannot take advantage of them and use that to isolate them. And I feel like that is really unfair, because this is something that they don't know about, and this is something that the child is going through. So just thinking that they are some fun kind of fool, or they are just something to laugh about, it's something that could even affect the child mentally. That could add up to the autism and many more things. The child might end up not loving him or herself, and that is really bad.
Tamper with their self-esteem. Right. All right. Thank you, Wuday. I think I heard that you said sometimes they have low development, low development or low way of understanding things. Mr. Jabang, would you say all autistic people are like that? Do they all have like a low or kind of like a slow way of understanding things around them?
Okay. I would say not all of them.
Okay.
And I just want to just add this to the conversation. Just a little bit of disclaimer here, because I started by introducing myself as an IT specialist. I am not a specialist in autism or developmental disorder, but I am speaking from the parent perspective and also from experience, and also the little bit of knowledge or research I have done myself. So I'm speaking in that capacity. So for the audience out there, that is just a little bit of disclaimer that I want to put out there.
I think that's important.
It's very important. Yes. So I don't want to sit here and pretend like I'm a subject matter in that field. But I do have a lot of experience because I have a child that has autism and is almost 18 years now old. So having said that, going back to your question, not every kid is slow in development. We have the high functioning ones and the low functioning ones. So the high functioning ones, those are even quicker than most ordinary people. Not let me not say ordinary people, than most people. They are so good in certain things way quicker and faster, for example in numbers and other skills, and then those are the high functionings. The low functioning ones are the ones that are slow in terms of their understanding and their other aspects of life. They just catch up on things very slowly. So that's why it's important to make that distinction. And some of the high functioning ones, unless and until you engage them in social, some social activities and, or observe them closely, you may not even know they have autism. There are certain behaviors that they have that somebody could possibly pick up, but, if not, otherwise you may not know. Yes, so. Yep.
Thank you. I think that is why we actually have you on the show today, because we know you are a parent who is very invested in their children and their wellness and growth. And that's why we have you today, to be able to share your experiences with the world and with parents as well. There are a lot of parents out there who have no knowledge about what their children are going through, especially if they have this kind of illness, or if they are autistic or other related disabilities. So I just want to say autism is not a disability. It is a different ability. And with that, we are going for a short entertainment break. And this time we're going to hear a song from Miss Zia. And when we come back, we will discuss more about autism. Stay tuned, don't go away.
My name is Zia Foxhall, and this song is in honor of Autism Awareness Day. It is called For You Now. Come away, leave it all far behind you. 'Cause it's not who you are, and it's not what you wanted. And I can see the strength there inside you. Calling you, come away to where you're bright-eyed and hopeful. As a child, this is how you saw yourself all grown up. 'Cause I believe in your smile I see someone else. Coming through like the sun rays that kiss your face. Like they always have done and they always will for you now. Everything will be alright now, alright. Everything will be alright now, alright. Everything will be alright now, alright. Everything will be alright now, alright.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Starfish podcast. I hope you've enjoyed that song by Miss Zia. We're going to continue the discussion about autism, and I'm going to have Wuday talk to us a little bit about how we can include siblings in the care of children with autism.
Okay, so for me, from personal experience, like how my sister is, I think she is one of the high functioning ones. And for her, like she feel, you know, sometimes when you have autism, you want to be isolated and all that. But for her, she feels that she wants to be included. Like when people are sitting down, she wants to be there. Anything you are talking about, she wants to know. And then she also wants to be part of it. And I think for kids like that, you need to be able to include them all the time.
Right.
Because sometimes because they already have the mindset that they are different from other people, that might, like if you exclude them, that might make them feel bad, that because they are different from you, that is why you are excluding them. And for me, they are not different. Right. They are not different from anyone. We are all equals.
Right.
So like including them, loving them, like always being there for them, listening to them. And like when you are dealing with this kind of people, you don't have to assume like if I do this, they are going to like it, or if I do this, they will not like it.
Right.
But always ask them questions. How do you feel? What do you want? How can I help you? And things like that just makes them feel that they are loved and that they belong.
Right.
And so for me, I think that is the underlying principle. You need to be able to love them, support them, and always be there for them. And you also need to educate them, because some of them are just slow in their process, like they are slow in learning and all that, but that doesn't mean they don't learn at all.
Right.
So you need to be able to take your time, like be humble enough to be able to be there for them and teach them.
Right.
So if we are able to do all this with humility, I think it goes a long way in impacting your life as a human being and also their lives as well.
Right. So unconditional love is the key when it comes to having the siblings to deal with them. All right. Thank you very much, Wuday. Mr. Jabang, we're going to go a little personal. But before that, I wanted you to elaborate on the signs and symptoms of autism. I know you mentioned some, but if somebody's listening, they will want to know deeper
Right.
what the signs and symptoms are.
Right. So the signs and symptoms of autism varies, and most these kids exhibit signs of, like I said earlier on, not avoiding eye to eye contact. That you try to play with them and they will be looking on the other side, you know, and they sometimes most of the time not interested in the interaction that you want to do as a child to parent activity. Relationship. And then another one also is like I said, the repetitive behavior. They will keep doing something over and over again. It's like when they like something, they just love it to the extreme. and they're not interested in anything else. If they're dealing with that, they don't want to be bothered. They just want to stick to that. So that's another sign that, you know, if you see that, that's a sign that, you know, it could be autism. And also in terms of their communication, they also struggle. You know, with the communication, the speech most of the time will come. Even if it comes, it will be very late. Some of them will eventually speak with therapy, but majority of them struggle. You know, their speech comes very, very late. So if the time comes that you feel like that time my kid needs to start talking and they're not talking, and it's go past that time, then that's another sign, a flag that, you know, that is possibly autistic. And another one also is they exhibit they're very picky in terms of what they especially with the food they eat. They will not be like, they don't want to, they normally don't like to eat, you know, a lot of things that other kids will do. They will possibly have one or two things that they like, and mostly, like I said, that's what they like.
Right.
You know, you give them anything else, they're mostly not interested.
Right.
But what they love it to the extreme. So those are all signs that, you know, that also shows the signs of autism. And also, they like to be, most of them like to be isolated. You see them, you put them together with other kids, and other kids start to play within each other, and you look around, give them a little bit of time, you'll see them on the side doing something by themselves.
Right.
So these are all signs that, you know, that you know, people should be paying attention to.
Right. All right, so I think everyone heard that. Please pay attention to these signs and symptoms so that you can be able to assist them at an early stage, especially if you can notice it.
Right.
So as a parent, what will you say the impacts of how have having an autistic child really impacted you as a parent? What are some of the impacts it has in your life?
Yes, the number one impact it gave me as a parent is that I became an advocate for not only kids with autism, but you know, the special needs people at all, you know, in general.
Right.
I just want to help out people. I want the impact it gave me is to try to do my best to not only focus on my child, but to also think about other kids.
Right.
And that is even what you know, brought the conversation about, you know, between me and my wife about God, because we look at Bubakar, our son, with all the resources he has in the U.S., and we ask each other, what about the kids in Gambia or in other parts of the, you know, of the third world countries,
Right.
that, you know, people don't even know what autism is.
Yeah.
So if you look at your child and you wonder, this could be you and your child in Gambia with no resources.
Right.
So it helped me to try to think besides my family to look out for other kids, and that's why I became an advocate, and to do my best to make sure that, you know, the kind of resources that are available in the U.S., we try our best. If we're not able to provide everything, but at least we can try to at least provide the basics in other parts of the world, especially in the Gambia.
All right.
So that's one huge impact that it has on me.
All right. I think that it's very noble of you that you're not only looking out for your children, but also other people, especially in the Gambia, where we have like low kind of resources for kids with special needs. So, and in your discussion, you mentioned GAD, and I just want to say GAD is an association for autism and development disabilities for people that are listening out there. So we're coming back to you, Wuday, and like I said, this time we're going a little personal, and I want to know what are you most proud of about your sister?
So there's a lot of things that I am proud of when it comes to my sister. And I think one of the things, it's like how genuine she is. Like, it doesn't matter like you are a guest or anything. Like, when she sees you, she will give you a big smile and all that. And I think that is so genuine. And like, because because even though she's autistic, but that doesn't stop her from like giving people smiles, and like I think that is one of the things that I am most proud of when it comes to her, and also like how she is able to help other people, and I think that inspires me. Like if she could do this, like with even the autism and all the stigmas that has to come with that, and like me who is lucky enough not to have autism, like what can I do for people? And I think that is something that like keep inspiring me to do more, to be there for more children, and to like just be there for children genuinely. And I think all that inspiration comes from my sister, and I love her so much, and I'm so proud of her.
We are so proud of your sister, even though we haven't met her as well. From what you've said, it looks like she is a fine young woman that is going to do a lot of things in the world. So coming back to you, Mr. Jabang, your final question, I can't believe it's almost the end of the show, but your final question is going to be about what your hope is for the Gambia when it comes to dealing with people who are autistic. And also if you can take a minute to tell something to your kids who might be listening to this podcast.
Thank you. My hope is that, to be honest, is that the awareness level, increase in awareness, that is the number one, because without awareness, we won't go nowhere. So I'm hoping that we've been having programs like this. I'm hoping that we continue to have this conversation, and it continues to go on, you know, and across, you know, social media platforms and, you know, all other medias, so people can be aware, and also the government. My hope is that the government listens to some of these discussions, and also try to provide their support, because individual private citizens can do so much, but to get to a level that I'm hoping, we really need the support of the government. So that's one thing I'm hoping, that we have the support from the government, the people are aware of it. The awareness should be really focused on the parents that may have kids that have autism. The health sector, the nurses, the doctors, the pediatricians should all know about autism, even if the parents don't know that the child has autism, they can advise the parents that, you know what, you know, you should consider this, because this child may have autism. Because we don't expect all the parents to know, but the health sector should be, the awareness should be very, very, very focused in that area, because that's where people go for help. You know, you are going to, the parents may not come to them for like to help them with autistic child. The child may have a fever or something, but through their interaction with the kid, they may be able to tell the parent that this child may have autism, and that will go a long way. The teachers also, schools should be very, very aware that, you know, to be able to help out also. So it's the awareness, to me, is the number one focus, and I'm hoping that goes a long way. After that, the resources will come, and then, you know, that's also my hope, that we one day have a huge central a center here for autism, you know, and children with developmental disorders. That's a big hope, whereby we can have programs in schools, where schools can have classrooms for these kids, because we talked about the developmental delay, the challenges they have in learning. You cannot just put these kids in the same classroom that you put other kids in. It's not going to work. And right now we don't have that in the Gambia. They just take these kids and put them in other classrooms, and because of the challenges, the kids will not progress. At the end, they said the kid is stupid, the kid is dumb, they just throw them out of school. But those kids have other skills that needs to be nurtured and developed, but not in ordinary classrooms. So that's my hope, that we have a country that has those programs in here, where every kid, no matter what you are, who you are, will have a chance.
And it's a collective responsibility.
Correct.
And now, if you have 1 minute to say something to your children, what will it be and why?
So, if what I want to tell my kids is that to be very, very the compassion, to have compassion. for each other and for all human beings,
Right.
and to be ready to give back, to be ready to serve
Right.
people, because the world is not just about me, and what I get. It's beyond that. We're not here just for us. We are here for each other.
Right.
So that's what I want my kids to learn and understand. And having a son that has an autism and another son that does not have autism, eventually, Usman, eventually, I'm hoping that he is going to assume the responsibility that we have now for Bubakar, because as parents, at some point, we're going to move on.
Right.
And then, so when I think in the future, I try to hope that I pray that, my older son comes to a position whereby in the event we are not here, he will continue to provide that support that Bubakar needs, and for them to be able to grow together. So that's the advice I have for my
All
kids.
right. Thank you very much, Mr. Jabang. I just want to send shout outs to GAD, the Gambia Association for Autism and Development Disabilities. I think for now, they are one of the recognized institutions that is dealing with autism and other special needs. And we just want to say thank you for all the work you are doing and all the work you are planning to do for autism. So Ms. Wuday Jaiteh, your final question is just what is the role of the community and the family when it comes to the well-being of autistic children?
So I think, as I said in the beginning, I think the role that the family has to play, it's supporting the kids with autism, and that is where the community too comes in. Like the stigma that they associate with kids with autism, I think that is something that people have to do away with. So these are kids that you need to be able to support, like you do to other kids. Like if this was your own kid, how will you want people to treat him or her? It just comes from that perspective. Do unto other people as you will want them to do unto you. So if you have a kid like that, how do you want to treat the kid? How do you want other people to see the kid? That is the same thing that you have to do with other kids, because some people just believe that you just have to exclude these kids and hide them, and I think that is something that makes yourself, like your soul will not be free, because you are keeping a human being. So these are kids with just their gifts. So you need to be able to show them, like love them, know that they matter. Not even like, just don't hide them. Like just let them be free, and you yourself, you're also going to have your own freedom if you are able to do that. So the community is just to love on these kids, support them, teach them, and be there for them.
All right. Thank you, guys. It has been a fruitful discussion. And I think if there is one thing, or many things I've heard from this conversation, is that, well, first of all, let's quit saying that they are possessed by evil spirits and isolating them and all of that. There's something called autism, which is we are discussing today, and that might be the issue with your child. And so understanding that will make it very easy for you to help your child and also make them feel like they are special and unique, and they are included in the family that they are in. So I just want to end this show with a quotation, and it says, "Every child is a different kind of flower, and all together make this world a beautiful garden." And so I think every child, regardless of whether they have autism or not, they are a special kind of flower. They are a different kind of flower, and together we all make a beautiful garden. All right, so like I said, it's been a fruitful discussion, and we are at the very end of the show. We just want to send shout outs to Starfish International for giving the space to discuss issues regarding our lives and realities as people. Also want to say a big thank you to my guests, Mr. Jabang and Wuday Jaiteh, for their time and their experiences that they're sharing with all of us today. I think I've learned a lot. I hope you've learned a lot, and please don't miss our next show in the next 2 weeks. And until we see you then, it's a bye from Starfish.